Hey friends, and welcome to this new video. Today we are going to talk about something really interesting for all Poppy Playtime fans, especially for those following Chapter 5 and wondering what to expect in the next episodes. Today we will focus on official statements from Mob Entertainment. And pay attention, we are not talking about some random employee or online rumor, but the CEO himself, Zach. The head of Mob Entertainment has released several messages on Discord, and some of them are really important because they directly concern the future of the series, including the much-awaited Chapter 6. But that's not all. There are also other interesting messages talking about different aspects of the Poppy Playtime world, like the movie that will come in the future and some curiosities about the game itself. So, in this video, we will take the time to read the most significant messages and analyze them together, to really understand what Zach wanted to communicate and what we can expect from the series in the coming months. If you are curious to discover the news directly from the official source, this video will give you all the most important information without filtering anything or relying on rumors. We will analyze each message, see what it means for the story, for the gameplay, and even for the future surprises Mob Entertainment might have in store for us. And of course, if you like content about Poppy Playtime, don't forget to give this video a big like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. This way, you will always be up to date on all the new videos, from the next chapters to curiosities, theories, and news about the franchise. Well, that said, I'd say we can start right away to look at Zach's messages and understand what they reveal about the future of Poppy Playtime. Alright, let's start right away with this first message. This message is really important because it directly connects to Chapter 6 and, more generally, to the future of the entire Poppy Playtime franchise. Zach, the CEO of Mob Entertainment, clearly stated that in the future the franchise will focus a lot on the concept of psychological and interactive horror. And this is a key detail because it already gives us an idea of what to expect in Chapter 6. For those who might not be familiar with the terms, let's make a quick clarification. Psychological horror is the type of fear that comes from uncertainty and anxiety. It's that feeling where anything could happen at any moment and you never know what to expect. It's not so much about seeing something monstrous or brutal, but about the constant tension and fear of the unknown. Think about those moments when you're alone and every sound makes you jump. That's psychological horror. Then there's interactive horror, which is a slightly different but equally interesting concept. Interactive horror doesn't just make you scared passively. Here, you, as the player, can interact with the horror elements of the story. It could be an object to move, a door to open, a choice to make that changes what happens. Basically, it's a type of fear that directly involves the player. So Zach indicated that these two concepts, psychological and interactive horror, will be the main points on which Chapter 6 could be based. This makes us think that the next chapter won't just be bigger or longer, but will be designed to give us a more immersive and intense experience where fear doesn't only come from monsters or creepy environments, but from the way we interact with everything around us. Basically, it seems that Mob Entertainment really wants to take the series to the next level, making every moment of the game keep us constantly on edge. And for us fans, this means getting ready for Chapter 6 to be more complex, scarier, and above all, more engaging than anything we've seen so far. Okay, now let's move on to these other two messages from Zach. These messages are connected to the drama that recently arose around Poppy Playtime. I imagine many of you have already seen the video I made yesterday about this drama, so you know exactly what I'm talking about. In these messages, Zach wanted to express his satisfaction regarding the results the game has achieved so far. He shared some really interesting data. For example, he said that positive reviews in English reach 85%. This is a very high number and shows that, at least among the English-speaking community, the game has been very well received. But that's not all. Zach also specified that he won't stop until the reviews are overwhelmingly positive. This gives us a clear idea of what to expect in the next chapters. Mob Entertainment aims to further increase the quality of the game, trying to raise the percentage of positive reviews even higher. Basically, what he's telling us is that in Chapter 6, there will be an even more intense and careful effort. Every detail, every element of the game will be designed to provide a better experience, aiming to make reviews increasingly positive. This means more attention to the story, gameplay, horror elements, and probably also to the interactive features we talked about earlier. I would like to point out an important detail. The 85% refers only to English reviews. If we look instead at SteamDB, the overall review percentage in all languages is 77%. It's not a low percentage, in fact it's still a positive result, but it's clear that Mob Entertainment will want to work on this figure as well to increase the overall satisfaction of players. These messages give us a very clear idea. Mob Entertainment is satisfied with the results achieved so far, but they are not stopping. The goal is to continuously improve the quality of the game, and this makes us understand that Chapter 6 will not just be a new episode, but a significant step forward for the entire series. Perfect, now let's move on to a really interesting message regarding Project Playtime. For those who don't know, Project Playtime is the multiplayer game set in the Poppy Playtime factory. It's a title that many of you know and enjoy, but unfortunately it hasn't received any major updates recently. In fact, the last big update was back in October 2023 with Phase 3. Since then, more than 2 years have passed and the game hasn't received any important new content, which made many people think it was basically abandoned. This of course left a bit of disappointment among fans who were expecting new features, new content, or maybe special events. Zach wanted to clarify that they haven't forgotten about Project Playtime and that he would like to bring the game back to life. This message is important because it gives us hope. Even though the game seems idle at the moment, Mob Entertainment doesn't consider it completely abandoned. There's a possibility in the future that Project Playtime could return with significant updates and fresh content. Of course, at the moment there are no official announcements or exact dates for any new updates, so we have to take this with caution. But the fact that Zach openly mentioned the desire to revive the game is already a positive sign. It shows that the project hasn't been forgotten and that there could be room for a relaunch. And personally, if this happens, it would be really exciting. I would love to do live streams dedicated to it, where we play Project Playtime together, explore the new content, and experience the multiplayer in real time. It would be an amazing way to interact with all of you and see the game's updates together as they happen. This message confirms that even though Project Playtime has been a bit inactive in the past few years, Mob Entertainment hasn't forgotten about it and leaves open the possibility of a future revival. And for us fans, that's definitely news to get excited about. At the conclusion, let's take a look at Zach's last messages, which are about the Poppy Playtime movie. Zach confirmed that the Poppy Playtime movie will be a real event film, something special for all the fans. However, he also made it clear that it will still take some time and at the moment he can't share any other details about it. So for now, we just have to wait and be patient. It's worth remembering that the movie was already announced a few years ago, but until today, there haven't been any concrete updates. The important thing though is that we know the project is still in production and hasn't been cancelled. This means that sooner or later, we will finally get to see the movie and find out what Mob Entertainment has prepared for us in this cinematic version of Poppy Playtime. And with that, I'd say we've covered all of Zach's most important messages. We've seen together what to expect in Chapter 6, what the plans are for the future of the franchise, the possible return of Project Playtime, and the first info about the movie. Thank you so much to everyone who stayed until the end. Stay tuned to the channel because we will continue to follow all the Poppy Playtime updates, from new chapters to official information from Mob Entertainment, and I'll keep you updated on every development. See you in the next video. Bye bye.